When providing feedback for students, it's essential that we read their reflections first. In this way, we're able to show students that we are paying attention to what they feel they're working on, and then very specifically give them the feedback that they're asking for. In this particular reflection, the student notices that they are going to be talking about the conflict in different characters. Something that he also spoke about was trying to improve errors that he's made in other pieces of writing that we've done this year. So he said specifically he wanted to work on the impact of the reader. So as I was reading, I was looking for that specific idea and giving him feedback on that. At the end here, he also says, the thing I want to improve on is knowing if I analyzed the quotes in the novel correctly and if I avoided making a mistake of summarizing the book. And this is something that we talked about at length before, as well as broadening his conclusion. Something that we also continue to work on, as you'll see on my comments on the right, he had mentioned also wanting to do better, more specific titles. So when I saw his title was changed, I took the opportunity to tell him that he could make a more specific title by adding something that was specific to the kind of change the paper would address. Moving through, I tried to provide some positive feedback about how clear he was on his context and also his thesis statement. And he specifically had asked about summarizing versus analysis. So when I was reading the first paragraph, the beginning of it really was a lot of summary. So I made sure to point out to him specifically how he summarized and how he more specifically could have changed it into analysis. As we move through and look at the feedback that I've given on the right, these are more minor changes, and he had mentioned transitions in his reflection as well. So I made sure to point out that this particular transition was well done and that it foreshadows in the paragraph before the specific idea he was going to address in the next paragraph. So when he did start the next paragraph with the topic sentence, I was clear of what direction he was going in. He also had mentioned quotes and whether or not he had selected good quotes. He did select a good quote in this paragraph to support his ideas. And what I had written at the end of the paragraph is that I'd love more depth of analysis around the specific quote he selected, tying it to the impact of his lack of sympathy and what the impact was on the reader because of that. How does the reader actually feel that Gregor's father isn't as involved in what's going on? As we go through, this next paragraph about Gregor's sister is actually very well done. So I made sure to point out to the writer that the paragraph on Greet is the strongest in the paper. It's focused around a specific element of her character changing, and it doesn't summarize it all. So again, I specifically used what he wanted me to look for to show him where he was doing it well and where he can improve. When we get to the concluding paragraph, he starts off well and does a little bit of summary, but I would love to know towards the end, more specifically, what the message Kafka is sending to the reader and what the impact is because of the fact that Gregor dies alone. And this is another way he could have brought the message wide. When we are reading student papers, it's essential that we adjust the lens that we're using for every single student. It can't just be, I'm looking for A, B, and C in every single paper, go through it and move on, give the same feedback to every student. Since every child is going to be working on different things, we want to encourage them to set goals and then give them appropriate feedback based on the goals that they've set. As we move forward with this particular student, what I will do is ask him now to review the feedback I've left him on his paper and set new goals for the next paper based on the stuff that he's improved upon and based on the stuff that he needs to continue to work on. I hope you found this video informative and useful. Hope you're having a good day.